It is 0417 hours local time over the River Psol Valley in the Belgorod Oblast, Russia. A kinetic and electronic deception operation is about to unfold. A complex, layered strike orchestrated by 8 Ukrainian UJ-22 airborne unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, against a critical petroleum infrastructure target. The analysis goal is clear: to dissect the operational doctrine that uses low-cost, expendable assets to saturate and defeat high-end, multi-layered integrated air defense systems, IADS. The geopolitical background is one of sustained kinetic pressure on logistical nodes. The mission type is deep penetration and deception, leveraging acoustic and barometric stealth. The UJ-22s, often described as Beavers due to their low observable subsonic design, are navigating a river valley at approximately 200 meters, 656 feet altitude. Their navigation suite is purely inertial and barometric. No emitting global positioning system receiver, no active synthetic aperture radar, SAR.
They rely on preloaded digital terrain elevation data, using a barometric altimeter to cross-reference altitude against the terrain profile every tenth of a second, effectively navigating by depth and compass heading alone. This strategy denies Russian air defense the ability to employ anti-radiation missiles or easily generate a high-fidelity track ID from electronic support measures. Concurrent to the UAV ingress, a diversion is launching. 2 R-360 Neptune anti-ship cruise missiles, repurposed for land attack, roar from their transporter erector launchers over 50 kilometers from the target area. Their primary mission is not kinetic, but deception and saturation. The Neptune, a substantial target with an equivalent radar cross-section of several square meters, is designed to be seen. The first Neptune immediately initiates a high-altitude profile, climbing toward its operational ceiling of approximately 15,000 feet. This conspicuous, non-stealthy trajectory, a textbook cruise missile approach, is a calculated electromagnetic lure. As intended, every high-power air defense radar in the sector, from S-400 Triumph to older S-300 batteries, immediately locks on to this high-priority track ID. The S-400 operator, adhering to established procedural discipline, prioritizes the visible high-energy threat. Meanwhile, the UAV swarm proceeds. The 8 UJ-22s maintain a loose, dispersed formation, deliberately avoiding the creation of a single large collective RCS, which could be coherently tracked by L-band or S-band surveillance radars. Drone 5's proximity sensor detects a high-tension power line hazard 200 meters ahead.
The onboard flight control system, FCS, executes a pre-programmed climb maneuver, clears the cable bundle by a calculated 3 meters, and immediately initiates a descent to re-establish the terrain-following profile. The subsequent drones in the formation receive a data-linked avoidance path update, allowing them to follow the same safe trajectory. The second Neptune executes a radically different profile, diving to a dangerously low treetop-level altitude. The second missile accelerates to over 900 kilometers per hour. Its active radar altimeter screams a continuous warning of minimum safe altitude violation, but the missile continues its NOE, nap of the Earth flight, threading between topographical features. This maneuver exploits the fundamental limitation of all ground-based surveillance, the radar horizon. No matter how advanced the S-400's 91N6E panoramic detection radar is, it cannot see through the curvature of the Earth or significant terrain features. The Neptune vanishes from high-altitude screams, becoming a ghost.
The UAVs continue to rely on passive acoustic detection. Drone 1's microphone array registers the supersonic passage of the second Neptune approximately 2 kilometers to the south, a distinct acoustic signature. The first missile, still climbing, successfully draws the full attention of the defending IADS. The S-400 operator launches a pair of 48N-6E2 interceptor missiles. The intercept is textbook, 8 seconds from launch to terminal guidance. The Neptune is neutralized at 15,000 feet, disintegrating into a field of insignificant debris. The deception is working. The main action intensifies as the second Neptune begins its turning point maneuver. The missile has remained radar silent for 3 minutes, effectively hiding in the ground clutter. Now it abruptly pulls up from the deck, climbing sharply toward 5,000 feet.
The sudden change in altitude and the missile's reemergence above the radar horizon trigger immediate sector-wide alarms. This pop-up, however, is not a kinetic threat, but a diversionary signal designed to shift the focus from the low-flying UJ-22s. Simultaneously, an Mi-24 Hind attack helicopter on an unscheduled patrol is vectored toward the initial low-flying contacts. The helicopter is equipped with a Yak-B 12.7mm 4-barrel rotary machine gun in its chin turret. The gunner is attempting to acquire the UJ-22s using an optical sight system, OSS, in the pre-dawn gloom, lacking the precision of a modern forward-looking infrared, flare, or electro-optical targeting system, EOTS. The pilot must swing the entire airframe to track the target and keep the fixed line-of-sight cannon on the small, fast-moving object, a significant aerodynamic penalty.
The system struggles against the fundamental principles of lead and lag. At the engagement range, the UJ-22 rips across the gunner's reticle faster than the turret's slew rate. The Hind is not losing to speed, but to target geometry and physical lag. After an extended, costly burst, 3 rounds of 12.7mm high-explosive incendiary ammunition connect with Drone 2's center mass. The telemetry link is lost instantly. One UAV is neutralized. The pursuit continues. Drones 3, 4, and 5 encounter an unforeseen obstacle, a low-hanging bridge. The lead drone executes a simultaneous emergency pop-up maneuver, momentarily breaking their ground clutter cover. The Mi-24 pilot, anticipating this profile, switches to S-8 80mm unguided rocket pods, weapon systems designed for area saturation. 4 rockets ripple from the pods.
Drone 4 takes a direct impact, neutralizing it instantly. Drone 5 suffers blast fragmentation damage to its left wing, losing aerodynamic stability and impacting the river. But Drone 3 successfully navigates the obstacle and immediately dives back into the ground clutter, where the Mi-24's radar altimeter-linked fire control system loses track. The second Neptune now executes its final decisive act, the turning point. It climbs to 3,000 feet just 8 kilometers from the petroleum pumping station. This is the kill zone for the terminal defense layer, a Pantsir S-1 gun missile system. The Pantsir's 1RS-2-1 multiband radar achieves a solid lock. The battery commander, prioritizing the high-altitude, high-speed missile, launches 4 57E6 surface-to-air missiles simultaneously, an act of operational overkill to compensate for the earlier failure to stop the first missile.
The intercept is a massive visible explosion, lighting up the early morning sky. The terminal defense is successful. The defenders are satisfied with the neutralized threat. This is the resolution moment. The 2 high-value Neptune missiles have been expended, but they have accomplished their objective: total sensor focus. Every high-end Russian sensor, every tactical decision-maker, and every available weapon system is focused south on the spectacle of the intercept. The real threat, the 3 remaining UJ-22s, Drone 6, 7, and 8, are approaching undetected from the north, following low-lying railroad tracks at 50 meters altitude. One exception, a second uncoordinated Mi-24 Hind appears from behind a tree line. Its gunner, employing a more advanced procedure, disables the searchlight and switches to infrared acquisition mode, scanning for the faint thermal signature of the small piston engines against the cooling ground.
The UJ-22s, despite their small size, present a clear contrast. The gunner opens fire with controlled bursts, achieving hits on Drone 6, which loses structural integrity but remains airborne in a degraded state.
Drone 7 initiates a programmed random vector evasion pattern, drawing the helicopter's attention. Critically, Drone 8 continues its straight-line ingress toward the tank farm, leveraging the chaos created by Drone 7's sacrifice. The main attack continues with Drone 1, the previously obvious and forgotten asset, reaching the main transformer substation. Its electro-optical sensor suite confirms the target profile. The warhead is armed. Meanwhile, ground forces activate the final layer of defense. ZU-23-2 anti-aircraft artillery, AAA, crews and soldiers deploying Igla-S man-portable air defense systems, or MANPADS.
The ZU-23s fire blindly, relying on sound and volume of fire, as their Mark I optical sights are useless in the dim light. The Igla-S, designed to track jet engine exhaust at 600 degrees Celsius, cannot acquire the UJ-22's small piston engine, which runs at a mere 80 degrees Celsius above ambient air temperature, insufficient to meet the seeker's 3-degree differential lock threshold. The first 3 Igla launches are ballistic failures. The missile accelerates, fails to acquire a sufficient thermal signature, and self-destructs. One soldier achieves a lucky intercept. His missile's proximity fuse, designed to detonate within lethal range, senses Drone 8 at 15 meters. The resulting tungsten fragment sphere peppers the UAV's starboard wing, causing catastrophic asymmetric drag, though the drone continues to wobble toward its final target. Drone 6 impacts the pumping substation at 180 kilometers per hour.
Its high-explosive, HE, warhead breaches the thin roofing, detonating among the actuator pumps. The resulting blast wave ruptures vital fluid and pressure control pipes. Drone 3, having survived the Mi-24 engagement, narrowly avoids a barrage of ZU-23 fire and impacts the control building, neutralizing the centralized SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition system that regulates petroleum flow. The pipeline system is now running without emergency shutdown capability. Drone 7 completes its mission against tank number 2, executing a perfect loft maneuver before diving vertically into the roofline. Drone 8, heavily damaged, glides on momentum and impacts the base of tank number 3. The confirmed outcome is the complete systemic incapacitation of the facility. The lessons learned are unequivocal. High-value assets, HVAs, are only safe if the entire kill chain is robust against low-cost, high-volume saturation attacks. The complexity of a multi-domain threat, where 2 high-end missiles are simply decoys for 8 low-end drones, exposed systemic vulnerabilities in sensor fusion and procedural discipline. The Russian doctrine emphasized neutralizing the biggest, loudest threat, allowing the smaller, more numerous vectors of attack to proceed unimpeded. The strategic takeaway is that the cost-exchange ratio in modern conflict is overwhelmingly shifting in favor of the defensive opponent, employing asymmetry. Advanced air defense systems like the S-400 and Pantsir S-1 remain formidable against conventional threats, but they can be effectively neutralized by overwhelming them with a multi-layered, cross-domain deception plan. The operational focus must shift from neutralizing track IDs to securing the asset at risk. In the digital battle space, information is the only hard currency. The entire operation was a study in controlled risk, a high-stakes expenditure of decoys to ensure the penetration of the low RCS delivery platforms. Modern warfare's reliance is not just on systems or skill, but on the capacity